Taurus, your in-depth weekly forecast for week commencing the 24th of June for the Ascendant, the Sun or the Moon. On the screen now I'm showing your event chart at the start of the week, which gives us some very important pointers. Now there's a couple of things that we need to look at first of all. Your ruler Venus is in a very chatty part of your scope, and of course last week the full moon was in the opposite sign to Cancer of Capricorn, and that's where the moon begins this week. So there may be still something that you've been thinking about or talking about that's still very much to the fore, but it can be creating some excitement, to be honest, because Venus is forging a great link to Mars. Now that's going to go on all through this week, and it's going to peak towards the end of the week. So for you, that third house energy is linking with Mars in your own sign. And Mars is giving you a real sense of excitement, thrust, but also an encouragement to manifest what you want as an individual. And sometimes with Mars in the first house, we can have just that little bit more extra self-belief and confidence. So if there is someone you want to reach out to, whether it's professional or personally, that link between those two is really helpful for sure. But of course Pluto right at the top of the chart on your 10th house cusp, very much to do with how you interact with the world at large, suggesting that work or your professional situation or your interface with people in general is changing. But because it is in an awkward angle to the sun right at the start of this week, it is still very important to think carefully in terms of your choice of words. But when it comes to communications, Mercury, the planet which is very much to do with talk and thought, is actually forging some very constructive links this week. First of all to Saturn in your sector of your long-term plan, but also to Uranus in your sign later in the week. So something really unexpected can start to unfold this week, which really gives you a sense of excitement. However, I have to be honest, Saturn is going to be slamming on the brakes as this week draws to a close. It has been perhaps asking some questions about what you want from your long-term future over the last year and a quarter. And to be honest, there may be some people who've made way, particularly associations, perhaps some friendships that are a little bit weaker, and there could be more of that coming from now through to the middle of November. But as ever, what Saturn teaches us is very valuable, and the more we can be open to it and to receive that energy, the more we can gain from it. But also Black Moon Lilith moves out of the part of your situation which is to do with romance. But Virgo, the host, can be a bit cool, and it moves into the sign of balance. If you are single, the chances are between now and the middle of March next year, you could encounter someone in quite an ordinary situation. So be open-minded. It doesn't necessarily have to be in a bar or perhaps on a dating app. It could be somewhere completely mundane that the spark of attraction starts to develop. But if you are in an existing sign, I think what Black Moon Lilith moving into Libra here is saying is that you want to feel appreciated and respected, but particularly when it comes to where you help your partner or you work together on the domestic load, there needs to be a good balance between what you put in and what they put in. And if you feel you are in a relationship where there is a little bit of an inequality, that's going to be the thing that you're going to be mindful of. But when it comes to that long-term plan and Saturn slowing down, just be aware that you may have to go over some old ground, but it's all taking you towards a point where your future just becomes that much clearer and you're really certain of what you want to achieve. It's been a great pleasure being with you, Taurus. Have a super week, and if you've yet to subscribe, please do so now.